Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics of the day and the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense and just the right amount of sarcasm by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. All right, for today's show, my producer has prepared a best-of compilation for your enjoyment. It features some of the most intense, informative, and hilarious segments featured on the show. Hey, you think I'm funny? Wait till you see some of these segments. Be sure to like and share the video and tell me in the comments what your favorite segment for the show was. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and follow Money Chat Now on social media. That way you'll never miss a show. Be sure to tune in to Money Chat Now every day at 7:30 a.m. for all the latest going on in politics and the stock market. Hey, enjoy the video and don't forget to make it a profitable day. Next report sounds like it came from the Babylon Bee. I mean, I really do. It's hysterical. And if you don't know what the Babylon Bee is, it's a satirical website with some of the funniest made-up stories about politics, celebrities, and other everyday news events. Look it up when you get a chance. But seriously, the story about Domino's Pizza is real. It turns out that Domino's Pizza decided to branch out into Italy and open several stores there. Now, I mean, I'm sure you're already laughing. I don't even need to go on, right? Can you imagine Domino's trying to open a pizza store in Italy? I told you this story, it sounds like pure satire, but it isn't. Well, it turns out that the Italians, who invented pizzas just weren't buying it. Pun intended. The last of the 29 stores in Milan closed this week as the chain said arrivederci to Italy. Italians actually took to Twitter and cheered at the company leaving Italy. Some of the tweets are pretty funny. This one kind of tells the whole story. Trying to open a Domino's Pizza in Italy is like trying to sell snow to the North Pole, said one tweet. Here's another. If you ever feel you're being outrageously overconfident about something, just remember that Domino's thought they'd be able to justify opening 880 stores in Italy. Anyway, it appears that Domino's entered the market thinking that they would be the pizza delivery kings in the area. They started opening stores in 2015 and tried hard to compete. It was the scamdemic, actually, that put the final tomato on the coffin. In the beginning, there were a few delivery companies out there delivering food. Well, all that changed with the scamdemic when everyone was delivering food to the people who were locked down, of course. And the competition grew. Anyway, if you go to Italy, you will no longer find Domino's Pizza there. I was all ready to go. I wanted to go to Italy and order Domino's Pizza. I think I'm just not going to go now. I know it pains you just like me. I got to thinking and wondering if we could find Panda Chinese restaurants in China or Chipotle or Taco Bell in Mexico. So I decided to look it up. Not much of a surprise here. They do not have those stores there. So the moral of the story is that you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Or in other words, Domino's ain't real pizza. This is one of those head scratchers for sure. And this race, which shouldn't even be close, is one of the strangest, well, since I guess 2020, when the other basement dweller won the election. Well, maybe he won the election, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Let's move on. So John Fetterman, as you may or may not know, had a stroke days before he was voted as the candidate in the primary. The stroke definitely affected him, and you could tell that he stumbles through words and sentences, but the stroke that would make it difficult for any qualified leader to take on the responsibility of senator is not the only thing Pennsylvania has to worry about if this loser gets into office. Fetterman never had a real job, and according to Wikipedia, because I wanted to make sure I got some real information. I didn't want to get any biased information. According to Wikipedia, his father subsidized him with about $55,000 a year to pay for all his needs. Fetterman did serve as mayor of the small mining town called Braddock with a population of 1,885 people. Not to belabor the poor job he did there, but his tattoos, he actually has tattoos with the dates of all the murders in Braddock while he was on mayor. But think about that. He actually put the dates of murders tattooed on his arms while he was mayor. Does that mean that he's proud of them? And by the way, would Mayor Kenny be able to have any room left on his body if he did that? I don't know. Probably not, but this is kind of weird, don't you think, that he put those tattoos on? His appearance is that of a criminal just being released from prison, and he believes that all criminals, including mass murderers, should be released from prison. Fetterman has also described his upbringing as privileged, saying he sleepwalked through his young adulthood, playing 4 years of football in college, and intending to eventually take over the owner of his father's business. So he's definitely, he's exactly the privilege of what he says, or the liberals say that they shouldn't have. Whatever. With this being said, he's up against Dr. Mehmet Oz, the complete opposite of all Fetterman is and stands for. As you know, I've met Dr. Oz personally, and he stands for almost everything I stand for. Things like, medical freedom, energy production here in the United States and in Pennsylvania, fair election integrity, and stopping the invasion of this country by both the illegal aliens and the nutcases within the country. Yeah, we probably have a bigger invasion problem inside the country. This heated race has Dr. Oz wanting to debate the man-child, and Fetterman keeps using his stroke as the reason that he can't debate Oz. Well, if his stroke makes him incapable of a debate, how's he going to argue any of his points in the Senate anyway? Look, if you've been following this, Dr. Oz has been trolling Fetterman. It's actually pretty funny. He's been trolling Fetterman about the debate, and in a statement, Dr. Oz said Fetterman is either healthy and dodging the debate because he does not want to answer for his radical left positions, or he's too sick to participate in the debate. As for me, I personally believe it's both. Well, Fetterman announced yesterday that he will agree to a one-date debate with Oz, but of course he won't reveal a date. In Fetterman's statement, he said, "It has simply only ever been about addressing some of the lingering issues of my stroke, the auditory processing, and we're going to be able to work that out." That's what he said? Work it out? Seriously? What are they going to do? Have a stunt double? I mean, who are they going to use? Thanos from the Avengers? Seriously? Well, this race is certainly heated, but not because Oz is the obvious best candidate, but because the country has lost their collective minds. If anyone would vote for Fetterman to represent them, they deserve the disastrous life they will get from it. Hey, if you recall yesterday, I reported a story about who had the lowest approval ratings of all the presidents for about the past 75 years, and it turned out to be Nixon. But Biden is very close and has already passed Carter in the lowest approval ratings. Well, the Democrats are struggling to find another candidate as the doddering old fool in the White House is showing signs of dementia and fragility. The Democrats are clearly looking for someone who can do even more damage to the United States, and rumors of the two worst possible candidates, I guess, or best possible candidates if your goal is to destroy this country, have been floating around. And the rumors are Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom. Oh my God, just the thought of that. Oh no. Well, apparently Harris has been in touch with a small group of allies who helped her organize her successful California campaigns for district attorney, attorney general, and U.S. State Senate, and has held private meetings of at least 3 supporters in her residences, according to rumors. Harris has also said she's had interviews that she plans to run on Biden's ticket in 2024. Yeah, okay. Another rumor was a Wall Street executive who raised money for Biden's 2020 campaign said he has heard from both Harris and also Newsom in recent weeks about the issue of a possible run. So publicly, Newsom denies he's running, and I have learned that it's an important denial because as soon as you declare that you're running, all kinds of media rules apply. Just so you know, that's why I haven't officially declared my running for president yet, because can you imagine how Facebook would punish me for that one? So if I say I'm going to be running for president, or if I'm thinking about running for president, Facebook would certainly punish me. Anyway, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. If either of these idiots get into office, it's going to be ugly for this country. We saw the dictatorships like the approaches for California, and now there's a rumor that they're bringing back mandatory masks in some part of Los Angeles County. Follow the science. The political science, of course. So many of you want Biden to resign or maybe just die peacefully in his sleep. But remember, then we'd have the laughing hyena as president. If you think Biden's approval rating is low, holy cow, Nixon would be a hero compared to Harris. Biden has also said he will run again, which much to the chagrin of the Democrat Party. Honestly, they don't want him either. Well, if we finally have election integrity, we won't have to worry about these nuts getting into office. But damn, if they do, we're in big trouble. Here's a question for the online audience. So if you're online and if you're listening in your car, you can yell the answer really, really loud in the radio and give your answer. So here's the question first. So if you're online, please put your answer in. And if you're in your car, yell the answer really, really loud. I'm sure I can hear you. So here's the question. Should Trump run again? Let me know in the comments, should Trump run again? And, oh, wait a minute. I think I hear somebody already yelling. Oh, never mind. It was a liberal with that language for sure. Wow. Whew, boy. Oh, boy. I can't believe it. All right. So let me know if everybody else, if he should run. All right. Well, the communist state of California has officially banned the sale of gas-powered cars to be effective in 2035. That means in 13 years from now, you won't be able to buy a car with an internal combustion engine. They will all have to be alternate fuel or electric-powered cars. I gotta tell you, I am so glad that Governor Newsom was so gracious to give Californians ample time to find a new country to live in. If the Californians like the weather, they will probably migrating to the country, the country on the East Coast called Florida. That's right, country, not state. Florida is what's left of this great country, and California is what this country fought against in wars. The freaking idiots in California think that banning gas-powered cars will save their state. Country, that is, from the dreaded climate change that Californians blame for wildfires and droughts. Really? By the way, speaking of wildfires, has anyone seen what happened when a Tesla crashes and the battery compartment is compromised? Now that's a wildfire. When you put water on the battery fire, it's like putting gasoline on a regular fire, only the battery fire burns hotter. I bet the sun was formed by a bunch of lithium battery vehicles all crashing into each other. Hey, maybe the Big Bang was a traffic accident after all. Well, anyway, the idiot Newsom will be banning the gas-powered cars. So this is my advice to you. Buy all the gas-powered cars you can and store them in a warehouse. They're going to be very valuable when this happens. The people of California and their other dumbass people who actually believe that they're saving the planet by having electric cars aren't going to be able to drive those cars when the electric grid crashes because of how much it takes to charge those cars. Does anybody even think anymore? Well, the ban goes in effect in 2035, so if you're in California, you have plenty of time to move, and of course, if you stay, you'll still be able to buy gas-powered cars in neighboring states. Like oil that we can't drill for in the United States, but we can buy it from those drilling in other countries. Unbelievable. Oh, by the way, if you're going to buy a gas-powered vehicle and store it in the garage for when the rest of the country can't use their cars because the electrical grid is down, make sure you buy an older model that has no GPS and no computer guided systems because you don't want them turning off your car by remote control. Hey, can someone get my tinfoil hat? Seized documents that were supposedly classified, and they say they should not have been stored by Trump in his home. Everyone disagrees with something in this case. Most of you watching agree that the raid was totally unnecessary, and Trump would have given them all the documents they wanted without the embarrassment of a raid. This action was pretty clearly a political move to harm Trump's possible return to the presidency and make sure he can't continue to drain the swamp. It's pretty clear that Trump will find some more truths that the liberals and the liberal press would not be happy to see once Trump returns to office. So they're probably just afraid of him at this point. They're probably petrified of him at this point. So the charade plays on. We will have the greatest rhino ever, Liz Cheney, claiming in a press release, and I quote, "I see no evidence that there was any political motivation." Hey, Cheney, your quote is politically motivated. What is wrong with them? It's like they think we don't even notice. Well, in the latest fight over this raid, Trump is actually suing the government and filed a lawsuit seeking the appointment of a special master to review the materials seized by the FBI. He also asked that the investigators immediately stop reviewing the documents while this lawsuit is being played out. The lawsuit, titled Trump versus the United States Government, alleges the decision to raid Mar-a-Lago a mere 90 days before the 2020 midterm elections involved political calculations aimed at diminishing the leading voice in the Republican Party, President Trump. And I happen to agree with him. The search has done a lot, by the way. Actually, I should say the raid has done a lot to bolster Trump's chances at running and winning the election if he decides to run again. I gotta tell you, if the liberals tried to use this as a way to knock him off the horse, they clearly knew nothing about him. They clearly knew nothing how Trump operates. He has always been someone who throws a harder punch if you throw the first punch. While Trump seeks to have the information reviewed by a special team, he and most of the country are waiting to see the real reason for this raid. It clearly has nothing to do with the classified material, unless classified material can implicate other politicians for crimes and actions that are anti-American. You know, when you have the obvious crimes like what was found in Hunter Biden's laptop or Hillary Clinton in her emails, we know that the government turns a blind eye to classified information anyway. This information must be very special to the people in charge of the government. No, not the people like Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi. You know, the real people running the show. Hopefully this will push Trump to run again, and when he wins, we're going to find out the whole story. It'll be like watching a TV sequel. We'll be introduced to new characters, and we'll find out the fate of the characters we loved and hated. It'll make for great television. I remember watching House of Cards on Netflix. Remember House of Cards? I watched 3 seasons, and then it was Trump versus Hillary, and I realized that the show was just a mere tale of real life. The real life was more intriguing. So we'll see what the lawsuit does for Trump and his base. Oh, speaking of lawsuits, whatever happened to the lawsuit Trump filed against Hillary for the Russian hoax? You know, when she accused him of using Russia to get him elected, when it really turned out that she planted evidence to make that story work? I wonder if any of this has anything to do with the real reason that, quote, classified materials were taken from Trump's home. Oh, and I wonder if Trump copies any of this information. Would you have copied this information? I think I would have. I think we're going to see this information appear in several different sources in the future and in future sequels of the Trump story. All right, with the passing of the Fuck Over the Middle Class Act, better known as the Inflation Reduction Act, by the people in the Clown Show Act, the government is adding 87,000 more IRS agents to the already 77 IRS agents. So what does it mean to you? Are you worried about getting an audit? Well, first let's do the math and let's see what the people who are here to help you, you know, the government, say about this. First of all, you should know that the population of the United States is approximately 330 million people. Out of that, approximately 155 million file individual tax returns. So about half of the people in the United States file tax returns. You know, not really a mystery here. In fact, I kind of find it sad that most people don't make enough to file or don't have the ability to file. But let's go on. We'll talk about that another time. So now we have over 155,000 IRS agents, and if you estimate that an agent can handle as little as 5 audits a month, that means there will be approximately 9,300,000 audits per year. So if my math is correct, that makes the chances of you getting audited about 1 in 17. By the way, the chances of you dying from, you know, the thing. By the way, isn't it funny that I could say the word fuck now that we're not on the radio anymore, but I can't say the thing that begins with the letter C for fear of being thrown off YouTube or Facebook? Well, anyway, getting back to this, the chance of dying from, you know, the thing are approximately 1 out of 3,300. Did you know what a real pandemic feels like? Well, in the next 5 years, just ask 10 people that you know if they got audited. Actually, you probably won't even have to ask. They'll be the ones walking bow-legged from the IRS probes. Hey, maybe the IRS got those probes from, I don't know, the aliens. Anyway, let's take a look at the press release from, you know, the people who are here to help you, the U.S. government. Well, to start, IRS Commissioner Charles Rettig said that these resources are absolutely not about increasing audit scrutiny on small business or middle-income Americans. He said this in a recent letter to the Senate. By the way, insert your best evil laugh here. Now check this out. If they're hiring new agents, what do you think the new trainees will be working on? Well, they certainly aren't going to be working on the major companies like Walmart or General Motors. No, they will be given Mr. and Mrs. Mom and Pop, and these will be the easy audits, or should I say the easy prey. Oh, can you imagine the pool of workers at the IRS? The pool of the workers that the IRS will be hiring? With unemployment at 3.5%, who do you think they can hire? Hey, you, Mr. Barista at Starbucks, how would you like a job where you can screw the people who you used to serve coffee to? Make that a double interest and double penalty, please. Can you imagine being the person audited? You know, the only trial where you are guilty until you prove your innocence? Well, unless, of course, you're a former president, that is. The odds are stacked against you with this ridiculous increase in IRS hiring. Have you ever been audited? I have. Hours of bullcrap, days looking up paperwork, researching this, trying to find that. It ended up where I owed the IRS $80 the first time and $150 the second time. Was it really worth the time and money spent? How about my time and money to go to the audit and look up the data they requested? Nope, not worth it at all. Well, good luck, comrades. It appears that the great prophet George Orwell is screaming from the grave, "I told you so." It appears that Amazon is being accused of stifling the voices of people complaining about unsafe working conditions in their warehouses, and, people are getting concerned about it. In a press release, federal prosecutors asked current and former Amazon employees to report information about working conditions via an online form. First of all, if you're going to put anything on an online forum and you're going to tell people to complain about it via an online forum, right away you're going to have a bunch of fraud. But okay, let's talk about it. One question in the survey reads, have you seen workers working in unsafe ways to try to meet their productivity rate requirements? Another says, do you believe that Amazon discourages workers from reporting injuries? Amazon has repeatedly come under fire for its treatment of warehouse and delivery workers. Critics and lawmakers have pointed to the company's obsession with speed and the strenuous quotas as threats to worker safety. Employees often claim they're at risk of discipline and being fired if they fail to meet productivity quotas. Yeah, I'm sure. The guy comes to work late 15 minutes, like the guy at WWDB, who we eventually had to stop using because the guy would come to work late. And these guys are coming to work late and on Amazon, and they're afraid of being fired. I mean, seriously? That's what they're claiming of? Discipline? OSHA investigators have inspected Amazon warehouses on numerous occasions over working conditions, including a tragic warehouse collapse and a coronavirus-related health and safety concerns. When an OSHA violation is identified, it typically results in fines that are paltry compared to the hundreds of billions of dollars in sales that Amazon hauls in annually. Of course, I always find that fines for several issues are usually less than the cost to fix the problem, and clearly Amazon is seeing the same perspective. However, I'm beginning to wonder about the probe, especially the locations of the warehouse. It kind of sounds like a nuisance report by the employees to round up sympathy for the union votes coming up. There are 2 current locations in New York that are unionized. These are the only warehouses that Amazon owns that are unionized. So Chicago, Sacramento, and New York are all areas that the union propaganda machine has been targeting. The areas that the probes are responding to in the Amazon warehouses are New York, Chicago, and Orlando, not necessarily Sacramento. This is an overlap of 2, and it sounds very suspicious to me. Amazon has repeatedly come under fire for the treatment of its warehouse and delivery workers, and critics and lawmakers have pointed to the company's obsession with speed, right? So they're doing that, and the employees often claim they're at risk of discipline, right? So we said that. That's a typical thing that unions would do. I think they really just can't find anything to complain about, so this gives the unions some more talking points. Amazon has denied it uses such quotas in its warehouses and has disputed reports of unsafe working conditions. Amazon has also denied that the quotas in its warehouse, and basically they're saying that they're not doing this. So spokesperson Kelly Nantel made a statement that the company intends to cooperate with OSHA throughout the investigation. We believe it will ultimately show that these concerns are unfounded, Nantel said. Of course they will. But the article is stating that OSHA investigated Amazon will be on top of mind. So basically now what will happen is even if they don't find anything, they're going to be on top of mind. This is how they brainwash you into thinking the conditions are poor and that the company should unionize. By the way, I don't care either way. Union or no union is okay with me. Just deliver my package and we are good. But don't fool people into making them unions. Amazon has taken over the world, so do you really think they can allow a union or a bunch of inspectors to slow them down? I don't think so, so it really doesn't matter. Hey, we all know that when Biden was placed in the office, he was handed an energy self-dependent country. We no longer needed to import any oil from anywhere if he would have just let it alone. It's like that meme that says, forget Build Back Better, how about you just put it back to the way it was instead? Well, since we're getting our oil from our enemies like Russia and Saudi Arabia, would it surprise you that our batteries are now coming from, guess what? China. Let's become dependent on another soon-to-be enemy. This way we can have our economy collapse from within. Who needs nuclear weapons? All we need to do is keep allowing presidents like Biden to be appointed, and other countries can mothball their weapons. We will be begging them to take us over. I guess that's the new Green Deal. They'll no longer have nuclear weapons because they don't need them anymore. We will need their food, we will need their oil, we will need their electronics, and of course their batteries to run our soon useless electric cars. Ford just announced that they would be raising the starting price for its electric F-150 pickup due to significant material cost increases. The increases range from $6,000 to $8,500 depending on the model. So if you wanted to buy a Ford F-150 electric truck, it is now more than $6,000 to $8,500 more than it was 3 months ago. Ford isn't alone. Tesla increased the U.S. prices in June. But wait, there's more to the story. Prices of all lithium, cobalt, and nickel have risen sharply over the past year as demand from battery makers has outpaced miners' efforts to increase supply. So we can't mine battery material fast enough for the demand of cars. Hello? Is anyone in the White House listening yet? Technology takes time to change. You can't just change it overnight. So here's the latest solution for Ford. Last month, Ford said that it will begin offering LFP batteries from Chinese battery maker CATL. And they don't use nickel or cobalt. This will be the lower cost option in the Mustang Mach-E next year. The company plans to expand the option to the F-150 Lightning in 2024. So there you have it, Chinese batteries. Does anyone learn from the past? I don't know, man. I'm telling you right now, hold on to your internal combustion engine for as long as you can. You'll be the only one on the road in a few years. And by the way, the articles I researched did not say if the Chinese battery gives as much mileage as the American-made batteries, but I bet you already know the answer. Hey, I want to thank you for watching Money Chat Now. Don't forget, we are live every morning at 7:30 on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And of course, you can also find repeats of the show on Rumble and Spotify. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the host of Money Chat Now, and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. Don't forget, you can also contact me directly at contactlarry.com. That's contactlarry.com. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Make it a profitable day.